all over the world right now. Heroes are fighting off users of a power source called the Dark Force. A power that derives from the dark dimension itself. The people they're fighting aren't necessarily villains, so to speak, but their power is overtaking them all at once. And when it finally takes over, it causes something they call sun death. This is how the world ends. This is my work. This has always been my work. And after so very long, I will complete it. Earth's heroes did their best to protect the innocents and control the chaos. But the Avengers were tricked into allowing the Blood Coven, a group of superpowered vampires, into their headquarters, the Impossible City. Fleeing, the Avengers were forced to leave badly injured Thor, Black Panther and Scarlet Witch in the hands of their new enemies. Blade, the vampire hunter, met with Doctor Strange and Clea at their sanctum, revealing that he is the mastermind behind the vampire invasion and mortally wounding Doctor Strange. The remaining Avengers allied themselves with Dracula and Blade's vampire hunting daughter, Bloodline, along with Tigra, Hunter's Moon and Spider-Man. The group made their way to Doctor Strange's sanctum to seek his aid. Strange remained trapped in the astral form, but before the heroes could formulate a plan, Spider-Man began transforming into a vampire. Doctor Strange's astral form and Clea departed for Latveria, seeking help, while Hunter's Moon and Tigra left for Asgard to execute their plan to defeat Blade. Blade then translocated the ancient Atlantean temple of the Force Blasphemy from its undersea resting place in Wakanda to the middle of Central Park. I just went over the last issue from this series. If you haven't checked it out already, it's on my channel right now. Go watch it. Or you could just continue with this video as I've just explained everything you need to know from the last issue. But without further ado, let's get into this. Blade reveals that he is possessed by Varney, the forced vampire. Varney merged with the Dark Force, amplifying his power. Varney hunted for Blade's teenage daughter, Brielle Brooks, who has the potential to strike him down. Brielle allied herself with both Dracula and a vampirized Spider-Man. Doctor Strange trapped in an astral form and Clea travelled to Latveria to seek Doctor Doom's mystical help in banishing the Dark Force. Doom agreed to help them, but only if Strange gave him the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme. Meanwhile, Tigra and Hunter's Moon freed Khonshu, god of the moon, from his prison in Asgard. And with the moon restored, Khonshu unleashed a legion of undead former fists, led by the resurrected Moon Knight, to battle the vampiric forces. Reunited and recovered, the Avengers confronted Varney and the Blood Coven at the temple for a final battle. At Doom's palace, Clea is berating him, accusing him of orchestrating this whole thing, just so he could get the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme. But Strange gives in. Doom has finally outmaneuvered him. Back in New York, the Avengers take on the Blood Coven for the final time. Vision attacks Wanda's guard and frees her. Now she is free to enact her revenge. Sam and T'Challa work together to take down their leader, while Thor is face to face with an old foe. This force met thousands of years ago, but for us it was in Marvel Comics Presents in 1988. But Mjolnir is nowhere to be seen. All he has now is his fists. Varney says he can kill him before it arrives, and the battle begins, god to god. Iron Man tells Wanda to cast a spell to get rid of all the vampires, but she refuses as the spell will kill even the good ones. Meanwhile, Vision is being torn limb from limb. And back in Latveria, Doom insists the heroes' efforts will not be enough. They need him. But Strange needs his word first, that once the world is saved, he will return the title of Sorcerer Supreme. You have my word, the word of Doom. Very well. A glowing blue light appears around Stephen. He's doing what he needs to do to save the world. Doom receives a fragment of his living soul. Did it work, Clea asks. All hail the Sorcerer Supreme, Strange says reluctantly. No. All hail Doom. In Manhattan, Brielle and Dracula are observing the battle, and Spider-Man appears to ask how she's feeling. But there's only one thing on her mind now. She has to kill her dad. She's cold, sharp, a blade. He made her one. And now he knows that a blade is made to cut. Varney and Thor continue to fight, and it doesn't look good for Thor. He's losing. Thor reaches to the heavens hoping his beloved will appear. And with his hopes fading away, Captain Marvel, Iron Man and Vision want to make a hole in the sky again, but they can't do that right now as they're holding off too many. But they're not alone. It's Moon Knight. He's back. And he's brought friends. In Doom's palace, they're preparing the ritual to save the world. As I said, I have been preparing for this eventuality. The magic used to create the breaches to the Dark Force dimension is extremely old. Pre-fall Atlantean. A spell penned by the same hands that inked the Darkhold. In those dark days, to wit. This is powerful magic that we seek to undo. Doom uses the information he got from stealing Atlantean knowledge and artifacts to find a way to unravel Varney's ritual. Human, Faultine, Fairy, Weird Walder. I will weave the many colours of our magic together in an act of wizardry never seen before. I will lead our ritual. I will focus our efforts. I will save the world. All I request of you is everything. Back in New York, the Avengers, along with a team of undead Moon Knights, are still battling for their lives. It's a losing battle. Every time they think they get the upper hand, another one appears. The Dark Force is swallowing all their attacks, and Varney just keeps getting stronger and stronger. He only has one weakness. Brielle, aka Blade's bloodline. And she's not here. No, I'm here alright. I'm here to save you, Dad. Brielle screams as she plunges her blade through her dad's chest. Varney tells her it's too late. He already has too much control over her dad's body. And that's when Miles, out of nowhere, grabs the blade, and because Blade turned him into a vampire, he's also technically a part of Blade's bloodline. So they join forces to expunge the Dark Force from Blade's soul, and plunge the knife as deep as they can. In Latveria, Doom, along with the Strange Academy, are taking advantage of Varney's loss in concentration and strike with all they have, opening up the skies once more and reversing the curse on the world. While Varney is in pain, he's being torn from Blade's body, and with a little help from Wanda, the Daywalker is free once more. Blade collapses to the ground. He's himself again, but is still in grave danger from the knife wound inflicted on him. Brielle apologises profusely, but Blade calms her, saying, "No, don't be sorry. It's what I taught you to do." Carol takes control of the situation, telling Wanda to lock Varney up for good, and Thor and Sam go help Vision and Moon Knight. Tony and T'Challa make sure Blade doesn't die. Our Avengers listen to their captain's call and wrap up the scene before any chaos can ensue. She flies to the sky to check the lay of the land, and finally sees the sun again. The Dark Force has receded. It's over. We won. All of us. But in Latveria, Stephen is impressed by Doom's masterful wielding of his new mantle, but it's time for him to give it back. He gave his word. His oath. He says, "Yes, I will keep my oath to surrender the office of Sorcerer Supreme back to Stephen once the world has been saved." But he's only just begun saving the world, and Doom does nothing halfway. Now let me show you what it means to really save the world. In New York, Miles sees the sun again, but is afraid because he is now a vampire. But it does nothing to him, and that's when Dracula reveals the sun no longer has effects on vampires. Every single one of them can walk in the daylight now. A new age for vampires has begun. Carl tells the team they still need to rescue the other half of the world that's still in nighttime, but they're interrupted by an incoming broadcast across the planet. The vampire threat is over, and this world, our world, is safe once more. And you have but one man to thank. Earth's new superior Sorcerer Supreme, Victor Von Doom. Well everyone, I really hope you enjoyed the finale to Marvel's Blood Hunt event. I really enjoyed it. I've seen a lot of people saying they didn't like it online, but in my opinion, I really liked it. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.